Hrithik Roshan has a natural charm that makes people admire him.
Perfect.
He has 5 habits that you can learn to become more confident without changing who you are. The first habit is called as punctuated enthusiasm. When you think of enthusiasm, you might imagine someone being loved and energetic, but that can feel fake or exhausting, especially if you're more introverted. Hrithik shows up that you can still be more enthusiastic in a more natural way by just showing up your excitement when you feel it.
I'm extremely proud of the film
You
because
should be.
I saw tears in my kids' eyes. So you're right, the emotion lands, and that's the beauty of the film.
You will see Hrithik's face light up when he's talking about his character. It's easy for him to be enthusiastic because his interviews usually focus on his work. But for you to bring enthusiasm into your conversation, talk about what excites you. A simple trick to do this is to end your sentences in a way that invites questions.
It's very important. Without information, education, that all is your ammunition that you need to navigate your life. So that's very important. But that's not why I did the film.
Folding back some details makes others curious and gives them a chance to ask questions, so you don't feel like you're talking too much. Now, let's look at some of Hrithik's general conversation habits. One habit is great for boosting confidence, especially if you're usually quiet. It is called the 10% rule. Notice the difference in how loud his voice is in these 2 clips.
Thank you so much for staying on.
I was enjoying myself. I had to stay on.
It is an absolute pleasure.
It's been too many years.
It's always amazing talking with you.
Just by speaking 10% louder than usual, you can make stronger impression on others. Sometimes people ask questions that make you go blank. If this happens, try reframing the question.
Abel, Super 30, and now we've seen 3 Hrithik Roshans in 3 different films.
Yeah.
How do you maintain that variety?
How do I maintain it?
Yeah, because they're 3 different, completely 3
I know
different.
no. It's not really about maintaining variety. I think it's about getting the opportunities, the other way around, getting the opportunity.
Hrithik does this by explaining how and why he's changing the question. Doing this helps the other person feel like you are listening. Here is an example. Hrithik is asked about his favorite Indian actors. He's not sure how to answer, so watch how he changes the question.
Who's your favorite actor amongst Indians?
My favorite actor? Oh, that is a very difficult question. Okay, who are the actors that I have been influenced by?
Hrithik also uses another trick that makes him a better speaker without changing how he talks. That is his hand gestures. Many people don't know when to use gestures, but the best time is when you want to empathize an important point. Watch his hands in this next clip.
So remind myself that before Kaho Na Pyar Hai, there was nothing. And then it was work that speaks, and nothing else.
Now watch again when he talks about the alternative endings for Koi Mil Gaya. Notice how he uses his hands to make his points stronger.
The euphoria inside a theater where the entire community is, the film is bringing them all together. So in the end of the film, if you don't thread the needle and get them all at that juncture and go boom, it'll be a little, don't leave them wanting.
Now, let's go over some gestures you can learn from Hrithik to use in your conversations. For example, when you're talking about 2 different groups, try this gesture.
Why not? You dream. And at the same time, it is inspiring the people who can help those people to make their dreams come true.
You just saw him use one hand for the people who should dream and the other hand for the people who can help them. You can use this gesture to talk about any 2 groups. Hrithik also uses gestures to show contrast. Watch how he gestures when he says protect and share in this clip.
They protect themselves and do not share what they've learned, because they feel scared.
He does the same thing here when he talks about inside versus outside in this particular clip.
Build the mountain outside you, which is already inside you.
The next habit that we can learn from Hrithik is his extreme honesty about himself. Watch as he talks about his characters from one of his older movies.
A film that I did called Main Prem Ki Diwani Hu.
Again, if you're not sure why the audience is laughing, let's just say the movie was kind of interesting.
Auntie! How are you, Auntie? Pranam, Auntie.
Oh, जीते रहो बेटे मैं इनकी मिसेस
I know, Auntie. Auntie? एक मिनट, Auntie, you're so beautiful, Auntie.
Here's how Hrithik looks back at that movie nearly 20 years later.
There are some things that are not natural to your state, and even if you try really hard, which I did, you would still fail. So, but I tried. I gave it my best shot. I mean, have you seen the film? Energy.
Interestingly, he's able to laugh at his past self.
Oh no, Auntie, no.
But this honesty is not just about his acting. Sometimes, out of nowhere, he'll say something like this.
I needed to do to be so that I'd be, I'd get all the love and the acceptance which I didn't find in my real life.
This kind of honesty allows him to bring strong, long-lasting relationships because he values honest feedback over protecting his own feelings.
I wasn't the biggest fan of Fighter, right? And you had told me once that we've known each other a very long time.
Yeah.
And you had told me once that my relationships are not dependent on people liking or not liking my film.
The final habit that makes Hrithik stand out is letting his creativity come from the heart. After one of the best debuts in Bollywood, he could have played it safe with big blockbuster roles. But right after his debut, he chose to play a man influenced by terrorist group in Fiza just because the role spoke to him. Here is Hrithik talking about his creative philosophy.
It's very important to fight the mathematics and calculation when it comes to things of the heart.
Looking at his career, you can see that he follows this idea, often choosing challenging roles that didn't always succeed in box offices. But following your heart keeps your creativity alive.
I still remember the joy that I felt while brushing my teeth before a day of shoot at a Koi Mil Gaya set, and brushing my teeth and then stopping and saying, damn, I want to feel like this for every single film I ever do in my life again.
You need to follow what excites you. For example, here is the reason why Hrithik agreed to do Super 30.
Blown away. I was blown away. By the end of the film, I was shaking. I was crying. I was shaking. I was like, I was just taking these deep breaths and saying, can't get over it.
Listen to how he talks about his decision. Creating art is about feeling moved by something and sharing that feeling with others.
When I say, this is a character that I want to play, it is an instinct that's formed out of my inability to say no to that film and to that character because it's hit me somewhere.
And that seems to be Hrithik's goal. But to be creative, you need to give yourself the time and space to let that creativity flow. This often means cutting out distractions and embracing selective boredom.
Sometimes, actually, I sit and do nothing. That I think is what I do on my spare time. That's the only time that I take out to do nothing.
This might sound strange, but being bored actually has benefits. When you're bored, your mind starts to wander, and this boosts creativity. Boredom tells us that what we are doing isn't the best use of our time. So that was all about the video. For more such contents, do subscribe.